Hello from the Yarn Closet in Southern Arizona. Yes, I just did, this is a mid-morning post, so we're getting some extra light in from the window. So maybe I could take the overhead light off, but I don't know, I don't care. I'm legally blind. You're gonna have to cope with those kind of issues. I just posted the other day, and now we're a couple days later, and I'm mending some socks, and I thought, oh, I should just go ahead and tape that. Why not? So here are some socks that have already been mended once. I wore them for like 3 days this week, and see, there's something coming in there. And then here, there was, can you see this? There was a really big thinning out through here, and these have already been mended there. So yeah, they're kind of 3 days of wearing dirty, icky. Mwah. And I think that I'm hard on socks because of where I live. Because I live in Southern Arizona. So everything gets this fine level of grit and dust and whatever. And so I think I burn out socks faster. I try to, if I buy a pair of socks, get them at a dense gauge. I try to, when I knit socks, knit them at a dense gauge. These were not quite as dense as I liked, so they seem to be blowing out much faster. I got these for my husband off Etsy for Christmas. I got 2 pairs, same socks, one long, one short. I've had all the gizmos to do the mending. I've had them. I don't really feel, let's see about this. I don't really feel like the gizmos help all that much. Yeah, it's just because of the window. And because I hardly ever podcast at this time. See my hair actually freshly washed and brushed today? Lipstick, see? I don't think the gizmos help me. They just don't. So I just kind of knit through. I take a needle and I take a really long piece of good felty-ish yarn, and I just knit through the bottom in these cross sections, or weave through the bottom in the cross sections. Not knit, weave. Weave, man, weave. And then I start with the needle in a weaving motion, but also catching what I can that's still substantial. I sew through going in the opposite direction. I leave a longer tail because I will use that to fill in at the end. And I just make sure I'm not pulling real tight as I get to my end of my rows. And it's not pretty. I think you can see that from my other patches. It's not pretty. It doesn't have to be. I just get it done enough to make sure over the spot that's going to become a hole, that is thin to the point of it's going to become a hole. I just make sure that what I have sewed through, woven through, is dense enough that once I wash it, and start to wear it again, that it will felt over the hole. That is my goal. My goal is to felt over the hole. And I tend to do this, like I've got one here, 3, 4 times. Some people say, well, why don't you just pick up stitches and re-knit a flap that you then just attach on the bottom of the sock? You know what? That is a wonderful idea. It's a wonderful idea. I tried it once. I didn't like it. I could try it again and maybe like it now. But the time I tried it, I didn't like it because it felt like it didn't felt together as cohesively as a patch felts together. So it continued to feel like two separate pieces, which I didn't like walking on and stepping on. The bottom of my feet are pretty sensitive. I have, oh, it's called something, lost fat syndrome or something, heel fat loss syndrome or something. I once walked so much in a day here, 25 years ago, that I got blisters, huge blisters on the bottom of my feet. And they were weeping and seeping, and huge chunks, like a 1/4 inch deep, of the bottom of my feet was sloughing off. I had to wear socks, double layers of socks, and Birkenstocks to work for months. Like, I couldn't wear regular shoes. It was so painful. And so then I lost all of this fat from the bottom of my feet. And then because I am a walker, like walking is a big part of my life. I am a walker. I don't drive. I'm legally blind. You know, I feel good being out and walking, whatever. I have since lost more of the fat out of my heel pads that I had built up over the years, but never really regained fully what I lost. Okay, so now I've gone back and forth the other direction. And so now I go crisscross, X's. I X through. And I will use my really long yarn thread until it's gone. And sometimes I will even get more. Because honest to God, the point is not to have perfection, not to have beauty. But do you see how this is not really a blown out section? I go beyond the blowout section. See how this is the blown out section? And I make sure that what I get across that blown out section and woven into the not so bad section is going to build a strong enough patch. We're creating a scab. For all intents and purposes, we're creating a yarn scab. And it will felt together on the bottom of your sock, and within a few wears, you're not even going to notice it. And that is the loveliness of this. That it really doesn't have to be beautiful looking and perfect. It has to be functional. This is the bottom of your sock, people. And here's the weird thing. You would think living in the desert that most places you go, people would be like, take off your shoes. I don't want to get your dirt in my house. Nope. So, you can hear the dogs and cats running in the house. So I just keep going back and forth, and I kind of X across, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You will figure it out once you start doing it, what exactly seems right to you. I'm legally blind. It gets to a point now where it's all about the generalized feel. I'm feeling the thickness throughout and seeing if it's kind of equalized, and if there's any places I feel with some pressure that go to thin again. And I actually believe, like my socks, if it didn't frustrate me so much how quickly I have to start mending them. And I go through phases, and I'm hoping to get back into a sock phase because I need to recoup some pairs because I have a lot of pairs that are mismatched, and I'm getting okay with wearing those. And if we're going to be home next year, then that's even more okay because it's not like people are even looking at my feet now. It doesn't really matter. People don't pay attention to us as much as we think. They really don't. And, oh my gosh, I have a headache coming in. Where did that come from all of a sudden? So if I get to the end and I think, okay, I'm done, that's enough, I just go to the inside, go to the inside. See the felting that happens in the inside of socks? I don't ever rip that out. I just let it stay. It's reinforcement, people. And I just sew through in a few different directions, trying not to sew through more than this layer of sock. And sometimes when I get on the inside, I see some other spots that seem not as sturdy from the inside as they did from the outside. So I will just reinforce that. Then I will pick up that long initial tail and I'll sew that back in. And I will leave a really long bit when I cut it off. So here we go. I just leave that. Are you kidding me? It's gonna felt right in there, be reinforcement. I have not touched that raglan. I think that if I finish it, I will not wear it. My daughter won't wear it. I think that I am going to have to, what do we got going on here? And then somehow in that last bit, I ended up with a loop out here. I am going to tuck that in when we're done here. Maybe I can even sew it down a little bit with this. So I think really I have to resew it. I think I have to make the sleeves bigger so that it's wider around in the chest. And I think that I have to resew it. Reknit it. I can't talk today. It's the headache that just came out of literally nowhere. Within minutes, I just had this god-awful headache. I do get migraines. I get migraines. Not surprising, being legally blind, I get retinal migraines. So yeah. It does feel a little bit wonky. It's going to felt out. It'll be fine. And then I'll patch up this little chunk. And I've got 2 more, so I'm in patch mode today. So we're gonna try to get patching done. Because this is not blown out yet. Well, did this blow out? And technically that blew out. So, and yeah. So that's what I'm working on today. Have some fun with what you're doing today. And I'm gonna try to feel really excited and not upset about the stinking sweater. Did I make progress on my crochet? Yes. I crocheted a few of the navy blue squares. I still need to do 1 more and to make a 4th. And I have started, I did the peach around the navy blue just because I wanted to. And then I'm not quite done with all my weaving in advance, but you know, we're working it. We're working it. We're trying to have fun. This is spring break and we're trying to stay engaged and not frustrated. I wonder what that is. There's a noise. It's probably a train. Have a great day. Look with your heart first, not your eyes.